Saphai Namaha. Nowadays, people are deliberately disappointed mood because we can't find the people who are happy in their moods, in their feelings, in their activities. Though they are earning a lot in financially in other sources. What is the reason behind it? People are very happy only when they get peace of mind. Now the mind has gone into pieces. How can the person get peace? The solution is given by God. That is, a person's life is a tragedy. So one should face it. Life is a challenge. One should face it. So many activities are done in the form of unhappiness. That's why we are not getting good productivity in the society. For everything, we are getting various inspirational activities by the people who are expert in that. What I am telling you is that we need not want anything. We can seek only one thing, that is Gita, Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, we are thinking it is a holy work of Hindus, or using to put promise on this in the court. It's not that. It is like nectar, mean Amrita. How the Milky Ocean was churned by the gods and demons. God, so many gods, Kalpataru, Kamadhenu, finally Amrita. Like that, while churning about the values and dharmas, first came 4 Vedas, another 6 Vedangas, afterwards 18 Puranas, 108 Upanishads. Finally came, that is a nectar called Bhagavad Gita. So what a great Bhagavad Gita. It is not Lord Krishna gives advice to Arjuna. Lord Krishna not only giving advice to Arjuna in the battlefield. What is a battlefield? Day to day struggling in the life is called battlefield. That we have to understand, not Kurukshetra. That's why in Bhagavad Gita starting itself say, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, mean each and every body's heart is like Kurukshetra or Dharma Kshetra. We have to make it Dharma. How? Bhagavad Gita gives lots of solutions for the pollutions of the mind with lot of conclusions. That we are missing. We need not get anybody's advices. We not go for or seek for the philosophers or psychologists or etc. I am also advising the organizations, no need to bring the motivators spending huge money. I ask each and everyone, you just put a class of Bhagavad Gita, give them small book with meaning, let them read it, daily allot them 10 minutes. They will know what the essence of Bhagavad Gita says to rectify the problems, fructify the solutions, and make fruitful of our life. When a person is fruitful, similarly, the entire nation will be fruitful. Each and every bit of the motivation we can get from Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is not an ordinary work of Hindus. It is not Hindus' work. It is wrong. We should not say Hindus' Grantha is Bhagavad Gita. It is Grantha of the human beings of the universe given by God. Hereafter we should not say Muslims' Grantha, Quran, Christians' Bible, Hindus' Bhagavad Gita. Hindus may be Ramayana, etc. But Bhagavad Gita is universal Grantha. Each and everyone who follows the principles of Bhagavad Gita, may be Christian or Muslim or Zoroastrian, or whomever so may be, they can rectify their problems so easily, they can be motivated so easily to get rid of the various troubles in their life, what they are struggling in various fields of the business or whatever the activities are, getting so many sources in the form of getting motivation from Bhagavad Gita. That's what I want to say you today. The topic is motivation in Bhagavad Gita especially. We need not say only motivation. There are lots of subjects hidden. We have to extract. Today, I want to extract only the motivation concept. That's why we have to watch this video, get us motivated each and every aspect of our life to make fruitful. Okay, let us start with prayer. Gita Shastramidam Punyam Yapatet Prayatah Puman Vishnu Padamavapnoti Bhayashokadavarjitah. We can get a lot of inspiration from one of India's greatest contributions to the world, that is called the Bhagavad Gita. While the regulatory changes were in full stream, we can understand that there is so much extract from Gita. We could extract a lot from Bhagavad Gita. The epic has standards of behavior and values addressed to each and every individual to help anyone to tide over the difficult times. The hopelessness and despair of Arjuna in the Gita is typically that of vulnerable human. Sri Krishna, by sheer power of his inspiring words, changes Arjuna's mind from a statement of inaction to one of righteous action and to a state of self-confidence. Lack of self-confidence, Arjuna, like we are also disappointed and dejected in our lives. So the question is that what can we learn from the book of the Gita which would help to us motivate our people and sail through the tough times? It is like a leader leads how. Whatever the excellent and best ones do, the commoners follow. Says Lord Krishna in Gita. So stick to basics, lead by an example and set an example. When the team sees a leader who works hard, it motivates them to keep pace with him. And we have to get clarity of goals. Not only stretching goals, setting goals. There should be clarity in setting the goal. Each person has perspectives and attitudes towards his work. What Gita tells us is to develop the visionary perspective, to develop a sense of large vision in our work for the common purpose. Clarify the purpose and goals so that people can focus on attainment of those goals. Involve the people in the communication process to create the goals to be achieved. If people are involved in the process, they psychologically own it, and you create a situation where people are on the same page about what is really important: mission, vision, values and goals. Now the leader has to take first step: trust your team. Lord Krishna had complete faith in Arjuna and his ability, which in turn motivated him to take on the battle. You should also show others that you believe in the capacity to live up to certain expectations, to deliver on promises and to achieve their key goals. Consider everyone a leader and they will have a sense of natural accountability automatically. If you force someone to do some work, you get what you desire, but if you set him free and make him accountable or own the task, you will get more than you required or wanted. Stand by your team, come what may. Recognize that everyone is afraid when things get uncertain. Instead of allowing themselves to be insecure and fearful, try converting their anxiety into result. This is what Lord Krishna did at the Arjuna, was full of despondency or fear. Be available for your employee when he needs you the most and be accessible, and you'll end up creating a very short bond. The point ought to make clear is, I am your leader and I am always there for you. Krishna set an apt example by driving Arjuna's chariot and being there with him in spite of facing huge army. When the going gets rough, the Gita teaches us to be balanced or equipoised during good times and bad times. The skill necessary in the performance of one's deity is that of maintaining awareness of mind in face of success and failure. The calm mind in the face of failure will lead deeper introspection, and you will see clearly where the process went wrong, so that corrective steps can be taken to avoid shortcomings in the future. The Gita helped Arjuna to win the great battle. The epic can inspire you to ride over the many battles that you will face while motivating your employees. Drop and you rise in the most excellent teaching of Bhagavad Gita. You see in chapter 18, sloka number 66, what Krishna says: Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. Abandon all dharmas and take refuge in me alone. I will liberate you from all sins and grieve not. This is highly motivated but the most misunderstood sloka. Why? Here dharma does not mean religion. Me does not mean Krishna as a god. Abandon all dharmas mean drop all the emotional experience of the past. This shloka motivates all of us through Arjuna to abandon all our past emotions and attachment to the experiences of our body, mind and intellect. It directs us to identify the ultimate reality of living in the present without past and future contaminating our thoughts and actions. The ultimate truth remains a pure witness to the activities carried out by the mind and intellect. This is indeed a present blissful state. Drop the past as fast as you drop a piece of hot charcoal fallen on your outstretched palm. You are immediately freed from all inhibition, stress and anxiety associated with past experiences. The past is used only as an automatic learned behavior and not as a conscious emotional experience. The past is not allowed to whip up emotions and attachment but used as a platform to rise up. Misery is living in the past. The future is bright if we learn to live in the present. On the other hand, we lead a life that is entirely conditioned by the experience and results of the past. Our past conditions and the future expectations have been scrutinized by the discriminating intellect. Who presides over this discriminations? Question. It is consciousness, I, that serves as a witness to this conditioning of the past, dreams the future, that discriminating intellect. Take refuge in me means become the witness unconscious from abilities and come to consciousness of all these actions that are carried out by the body, mind and the intellect. You reach a blissful state. It is in your hand and you can achieve at any moment. The suffering is an illusion born of our conditioning and become the unconditioned witness of all actions, success and failures in your life. What is great motivation? Let us see. Should we follow this? There is no misery but only success. Even failure is taken as a success as the life becomes a play. Lord Krishna is certainly not a cheerleader, motivator, or trainer. In the narrative, he is a God who is in on earth to establish Dharma, and the conversation from Dharma revolves around activity, what choices you make, what desires you take. It is not based on success, which is why Krishna keeps saying that. To action alone you have the right, not to the results. Karmanyevadikaraha namma phaleshu kadachana. What is dharma? Not ethics or righteousness. As westernized academicians keep telling us, dharma is when we stop behaving as animals and display our humanity. In other words, a peace based on dehumanizing fellow humans through force, like domesticating wild animals, is not desirable. It is not dharma. Likewise, a war where we fight as animals over a bone is not dharma. It must be kept in mind that Arjuna is going through a crisis which prompts a motivation on Gita or narration in Gita. The Gita, especially the crisis management. Suddenly Arjuna's nerves fail him and he does not find value in the violence that he meant in participating just before the war is about to start. The Bhagavad Gita is a philosophy being presented in the middle of the battleground. There is no metaphor, as Mahatma Gandhi insisted it was. A peace where dharma is not respected is not desired. Just as war where dharma is not respected is not desired. Our roles often force us to do things that we know to be morally right or wrong. But in the Indian scheme of things, we really don't know what is right or wrong. One has to choose between royal obligation and personal reputation. Blessed in the human birth, even the dwellers in heaven desire their birth. For attaining true knowledge and pure love may be attained only by a human being. Let a man lift himself by his own self alone. Let him not lower himself. For this self alone is a friend of one's self, and this self alone is enemy of one's self. Whatever the action is performed by a great man cannot compare. It may be common men follow in his footsteps, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues it. That's why there is a proper quote in life. What is quote? What is life? Life is an adventure, dare it. Life is a beauty, praise it. Life is a challenge, meet it. Life is a duty, perform it. Life is a love, enjoy it. Life is a tragedy, face it. Life is struggle, fight it. Life is an ocean, swim it. Life is a promise, fulfill it. Life is a game, play it. Life is a gift, accept it. Life is a journey, complete it. Life is a mystery, unfold it. Life is a goal, achieve it. Life is an opportunity, take it. Life is a puzzle, solve it. Life is a song, sing it. Life is a sorrow, overcome it. Life is a spirit, realize it. These principles, if we follow, we cannot find unhappiness from the face of anyone on this earth. It is better to strive in one's own dharma than to succeed in the dharma of another. Nothing is ever lost in the following one's own dharma, but completion in others' dharma breeds fear and gives insecurity and fear. That's why I say, Adyeshyate chayimam dharmyam sambadamavayoho jnana yajnena tenaham ishtasyamiti me matihi. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worship me by his intelligence. Further in the next verse, Lord Krishna says that A person who merely hears this message with faith can burn the results of all sinful reactions he may have accumulated in various lifetimes, meaning, even if a person is not able to intelligently comprehend the message, just hearing the message, with faith in Krishna's words, can deliver a person from all sinful reactions. Such a person also attains the destination of Siddhas. How? Let us see. Shraddhavananasuyascha shrunuyadapi yo naraha sopi mukta shupan lokan prapnuyat punya karmanam. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to auspicious planets where the pious dwell. Generally, people who are materially minded consider doing those things that will enable them to gain material profits in this world. Just imagine the profit a person can derive just by hearing and studying this great literature. However, if a person is really intelligent and if he wants to please Krishna through his actions, then Krishna also mentions that activity which gives the highest pleasure to Krishna. Here is what Krishna says about this in Bhagavad Gita. Idam te na tapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana na cha susrushave vachyam na cha mam yobhyasuyati. What a beautiful composition by Lord Krishna. This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not penance or devoted or enraged in devotional service, more to one who is envious of me. Yayidam paramam guhyam madbhakteva vidasyati bhaktim mayi param krutva mameshvaishyatya samsayaha. For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotion service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. Nacha tasman manushyeshu kaschin me priyakritamaha bhavita nacha me tasmad anyah priyataro bhuvi. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So the ultimate benefit can be derived by first comprehend the message of Gita, and then by enabling others to be able to read and understand the message of Bhagavad Gita. This is the best way, welfare activity that a person can do for himself and for the society. Furthermore, the message of Bhagavad Gita is not a mundane, monotonous message like most mundane literature in this world. The message is quite thrilling and wondrous. This is evident from the concluding verses spoken by Sanjaya in Bhagavad Gita. Ityaham vasudevasya partasya cha mahatmanaha samvadamimamasrausham adbhutam romaharshanam. Sanjaya said, thus I have heard the conversation between Arjuna and Krishna, and so wonderful is that message that my hair is erecting, standing on end. It was wonderful because the Supreme Personality of Godhead was speaking about himself and his energies to the living entity Arjuna, a devotee of Lord Krishna. If we follow these footsteps of Arjuna to understand Krishna, then our life will be happy and successful. Sanjaya realized this, and as he began to understand it, he related the conversation to Dhritarashtra. Now it is concluded that wherever there is Krishna and Arjuna, there is a victory. Vyasa prasadat sritavan etad guhyamaham padam yogam yogeshwarat krishnat Sakshat Katayata Swayam. By the mercy of Vyasa, I have heard those most confidential tasks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. There are many mystics and yogis all over the world, but Krishna is the master of all yoga systems. Krishna's instruction is explicitly stated in Bhagavad Gita, surrender unto Krishna. One who does so is the topmost yogi. This is confirmed in Gita. If one does not come to the disciplic succession, he cannot hear Krishna. Therefore, his knowledge is always imperfect, at least as far as understanding Bhagavad Gita is concerned. The spiritual master is a representation of Vyasadeva also. Therefore, according to the Vedic system, on the birthday of the spiritual master, disciples conduct the ceremony called Vyasa Puja. Rajan samsrutya samvadamimam adbhutam Keshavarjunayor punyam krishyami cha muhur. O king, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy discussion between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure being thrilled at every moment. The understanding of Bhagavad Gita is so transcendental that anyone who becomes conversant with the topics of Arjuna and Krishna becomes righteous, and he cannot forget such talks. This is a transcendental position of spiritual life. In other words, who hears Gita from right source directly from Krishna attains full Krishna consciousness. The result of Krishna consciousness is that one becomes increasingly enlightened and he enjoys life with a full thrill, not only for some time, but every moment. Tacha samsmrutya samsrutya rupamadhyadbhutam hare vismayo me mahan rajan hrishyami cha punah punah. O king, I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna. I am struck with wonder and more, and I want to rejoice again and again. One who has control over the mind is tranquil in the heat and cold, in pleasure and the pain, and in honor and dishonor, and is ever steadfast with Supreme Self. Faithful intent is the success subdued. He gains knowledge, going knowledge, he soon finds a perfect peace. No purifiers equals knowledge, and in time the man to perfect discipline and discourse. This is in his own spirit. The egoistic man thinks, I am the deed. In reality, Prakriti does everything. A jnani who remains as a silent witness and who knows the essence of the discussion of the quality and functions is not bound. The self-controlled soul who moves almost sense objects free from either attachment of repulsion, he wins eternal peace. Death is a sure for that which is born, as birth is for that which is dead. Jatasya vidruva mrityuru dhruvam janma mrityasya. Therefore, grieve not for what is an inevitable. Salvation of the dawn. How? Look to this day, for it is life. The very life of life. In its brief course lie all the truths and realities of your existence, the bliss of growth, the glory of action, and the splendor of beauty. For yesterday is but a dream today, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today we lived makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day, such is the salvation to the dawn. To read or hear the message of Bhagavad Gita and following verses from Bhagavad Gita may help you. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajantyante kalebaram tam tame vaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavinah. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state of he will attain without fail. A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled with, but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. Thus, Bhagavad Gita gives a lot of motivation, which is very useful and needed to the present generation to rectify the past generation and give opportunity to the future generation. Ekantai Kalyan Nide Nidanam Sri Venkateswaraya Srinivasaya Mangalam Mangala Janamare Madacharya Brahme Sarvesha Purve Acharya Satkutaya Mangalam.